Hello everybody, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening depending on where you are in this amazing world. My name is Donovan Jolly and welcome everybody once again for another video of DIY investing. I honestly cannot remember a time where I was this excited to share with you guys some XRP analysis. Over the last couple weeks I've been watching XRP closely because I feel like now is a very important time in the market to fully decide what way we're going to go. And with XRP being one of my biggest long-term holds, I've made sure that I've wanted to keep you guys updated with everything that's going on inside of this market. And I've noticed an amazing pattern that's playing out, almost more exact to the last fractal market cycle that we've been analyzing for the last couple months. This is absolutely mind-blowing, and I know that everybody here that's invested into XRP is going to find so much value inside of this video. So make sure you guys stay to the end so you don't miss out on any of this fractal comparison that we're going to go through. We're going to go through the fractal of XRP, and then I'm also going to be sharing with you guys an amazing fractal with gold. This proves that the bull run is imminent for XRP, and we're about to see the prices of XRP skyrocket. My goal for this video is 1,000 likes, so make sure you guys smash up that like button, help me get to my goal for this video. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button as well, and then click the notification bell so you don't miss out on any new videos like the one provided for you here. If you're looking for an awesome community with over 4,000 members, I highly recommend that you guys check out my Discord server. The Discord server is totally free for you guys to join. You guys don't have to pay anything, but I do offer some of my more exclusive content on my Discord, like my video course and signals. The video course is 20 educational videos that teach you guys all of the same strategies that I use to profit inside of crypto. So if you're somebody that's actually looking to start being a profitable analyst on your own and wants to actually start trading and investing in this market, but doesn't really have a resource to teach them how to do so, you guys are definitely going to want to check out that course. Now the signals are a way for you guys to actually copy my long-term trading plan and my portfolio. So if you guys would rather instead just copy what I'm doing with my portfolio, all the trades that I'm taking, as well as when I'm going to be exiting the market, I highly recommend that you guys check out the signals. Now both of those you're going to be able to find access in the Discord. So click in the description of this video. Once you guys click in there, you're going to get the invite to my Discord. Click on that, and once you guys have access, shoot me a message and I will get back to you as soon as possible. With all that being said, guys, I wanted to quickly say thank you all so much for the support. I know I have a lot of XRP fans here on the channel, so I know that you guys are going to find a ton of value inside of this video today. So let's quit messing around and jump right into it. Okay guys, so here we are. Now I'm going to go through and I have a few different pictures that we're going to be taking a look at here, and really all this does is it shows the last fractal. Now we're going to quickly go through the fractal analysis of XRP because there's some things playing out that are very, very important that I wanted to talk about today. And then we're also going to be comparing it to a gold fractal. Now this is the same exact fractal that sent Bitcoin from 3,200 to 14K, and I think that there's a strong possibility that we could see the exact same thing happen with XRP. Now obviously the prices would be different, but I do strongly believe that we're about to see an immediate impulse coming inside of XRP soon. Now, what I wanted to go through here is really just comparing the last two cycles, because honestly, what's happened over this last month has honestly followed even more closely to the last market cycle fractal than even what we were a couple months ago. And so there's some things playing out that I want to talk about today. Now, what this chart is, first off, is the original market cycle in XRP. Now this was the first market cycle we had before XRP went from down here all the way up to $3.50, I think it was 80 cents actually. And it was a very big rise inside of XRP. Now, the reason why we've been updating you guys with this is because this fractal market cycle looks almost identical to the one that we're in right now. Now, kind of the way it works is we go through these 3 or 4 different phases. You have 3 impulse waves here, and we can see that each one of these green boxes is an impulse wave. So we have 3 impulse waves, and then this black line represents the new year. For whatever reason, the new year is a very strong point of reversals inside of the cryptocurrency market, and oftentimes I just don't understand why a lot of people aren't viewing this, because it's one of the most clear indicators that we're going to have for a reversal, and I don't see anybody really talking about this. But just like in the last cycle, the new year is either the cycle top or it's the cycle low. Now the way that XRP accumulates is you have the new year, which indicates the cycle top. We can see that that was almost the exact top of the XRP cycle from 2015, and then we start a 2-year bear market. Now this is the way it works. You have the new year reversal, and after that it actually starts a 2-year bearish decline, right? And we can see that with this red trend line. We have lower lows and lower highs. Every time we come back up into resistance of this trend line, we actually get rejected and we fall lower. Now we can see here that around September, about a year and a half later, prices finally actually break outside of that descending resistance. And this is really the confirmed trend reversal. And this is what you want to see before a major bullish impulse, is actually the break of a downtrend. And this is where price breaks outside of that descending resistance, that psychological barrier. And then we end up falling for one more final low, and that final low takes us exactly 2 years after the cycle high. So remember guys, the new year is the cycle high. 2 years later takes us to the January 1st of 2017, which is almost the exact cycle low. And in fact, we go for one more lower low, and then that's what really starts us into that next impulse. And that's where we go from, you know, sub 1 cent values all the way to $3.80, and you guys would have been able to make so much money. Now, what's amazing is the fact that we're following this fractal still to this day almost identically. Comparing the two cycles, it looks exactly the same. We get 3 impulse waves here. We get the new year top, or the cycle high. That comes January 1st of 2018, and then that starts a 2-year bear market decline. And we can see that here. We get lower lows and lower highs, we make this descending resistance, and we fall. Every time we hit this descending resistance, we fall to lower lows and lower highs, right? Now, what happened is we actually broke outside of that descending resistance right here, and then we fell to one more final low to retest that as support. And this should, in theory, be the final bullish retest. We can see that here. After we break out, we make one more final impulse on the downside to come back down and retest this descending resistance, and we've done that. In fact, we've actually done that 3 different times with XRP, which makes me feel like we're very close to the bottom here. Guys, this is the same exact fractal. We break out, we fall to one more low to retest that, and then that starts the major bull run. Now, obviously with XRP, we're going to need to see what happens. I still have the potential for a 6 cent XRP, which would take us back down to about here. But I want to see us hold above this resistance. If we can hold above previous resistance as support, it's going to just further my bias with this fractal, and it's going to make it a lot more bullish as far as market structure goes. But guys, looking at this fractal, there's really no difference that we can see. This is the same exact pattern. The same algorithms are buying this, the same algorithms are trading this, and it's honestly one of the most beautiful chart formations that we see across all of cryptocurrency. Now, if we come in here, let's take a look at the last cycle, and let's get into even more detail here. Now we can see that the new years are the way that the cycles work, the new year top, and then in XRP specifically, we have a 2-year bear market. So 2 years from that point takes us to January 1st of 2017, and that is almost the exact bottom. And that's what I've been updating you guys with, is the new years are a significant point of reversals inside of the market. Usually the markets go through these phases where every reversal there's a big defining point. Now in this case with XRP, the new year top signals either the top or the bottom. In this case, it was the top. Then we start that 2-year decline. 2 years later takes us to almost the exact bottom before we start a new bull run. And this is the way that the cycle today is working to this day still. Now, one thing I wanted to point out here is in the last cycle, when we actually hit that 2-year point, we actually made one more lower low. And in fact, after the new year, we made a quick little bull trap here before falling to that final low. Now, this is where it gets really interesting, guys, because XRP still to this day is following it almost exact. We can see that 2 years from the cycle high puts us here. We have a short-term bull trap before finally falling to one more low, and it's exactly the same as what we're seeing here. Bull trap, fall to one more low. Now, I would really like to see the bottom to be in right here. It could still go for a lower low to this day, and I want to make sure that you guys are aware of that. I still have some downside targets that I will look to get filled with bids, but I just don't know if it's going to play out. I really wanted to update you guys with this fractal just because, you know, we watch this fractal to see kind of what's going to happen when the bottom is going to be in place. And to be honest, guys, the more the time passes, the more closely we follow this fractal. And that's why I feel like we're very close to the bottom. Now, what has recently happened inside of the global markets is the Federal Reserve Bank is now printing endless amounts of USD. What that means is for scarce assets like Bitcoin, like Ethereum, like XRP, these are going to see a massive price shock, and we're going to see valuations skyrocket. Even if it's not a really clear indicator of perceived value going up because it's just inflation, we are still going to see a monumental rise coming out of these cryptocurrencies. And that's why it's so important that we're invested into crypto right now, because with the dollar hyperinflating and really starting that hyperinflation stage, we are now going to see cryptocurrencies see a bulk rise of value. And so it's very important that we know what's happening. And the thing is, guys, we are following this XRP fractal almost identical. There is almost zero difference in structure, and that's why I think it's very important that we all have at least slight exposure to XRP. Now, the next chart is probably one of the most important ones that we're going to talk about today, because this thoroughly proves just how exact these cycles are. It is almost zero difference between the two. Now, looky here, we have the first cycle on top is actually the current cycle that we're in, and then this black one down here is the old one. Now, we can see here that the two cycles have almost zero difference. They look almost exactly the same. We can see that one, we get our first lower high before we make our final lower low. One, lower low. And then this takes us to our first little breakout of this capitulation stage right here. Now, just like on the first cycle, we have this little impulse here, and then we start to fall back on to support. If we look at the last cycle, this is where we go to 4, 5, and 6. 4, 5, and 6 on both cycles are almost exactly the same. We have the top of 3, we have the short-term correction back down onto support. 4, 5, and 6 is just us kind of rounding out on support before we actually make this breakout move. Now, if you guys look at the real chart, right here is number 7. This is actually where we break outside of the descending resistance. And if we come back and look right here, we're going to see that that was the case. Number 7 is where we broke out. And it looks almost identical, guys. There's almost zero difference here. Both cycles look exactly the same. And so I ask you, as an XRP bull or bear, does this further your personal bias of you being bullish before? Are you even more bullish now? Or if you were a bear, after seeing this, why do you feel like we're still going to go for lower lows? Why do you feel like XRP is dead completely? Because if it's following the last fractal almost identically, why isn't it going to go for another bull run? Especially if we have the Federal Reserve just printing endless amounts of USD. It's only going to balloon all of these values of these assets. And so, guys, if we look here, we are still at this exact same cycle. We have 7, 8, 9 is this fake out before 10 is really that lowest low. Now, like I said, we could still drop a little bit lower here, but really what I'm pointing you guys out is the fact that this cycle is exactly the same. And that's why I do strongly believe that we're very close to this bottom. In my opinion, we're not just going to fall off the face of the earth. XRP isn't going to die. It's been one of the best performing cryptocurrencies for the last 6 years. I highly expect it to continue to hold that stance. Now, really, this takes us to just the overlying fractal. This is the overall analysis here. This is kind of everything combined, and we can see that both fractals here are almost exactly the same. We have the 3 impulse waves, just the same as here. We have a New Year top, and then that starts a 2-year bearish decline. New Year top, 2-year bearish decline. We actually break outside of this descending resistance right before the New Year, which happens here. We still fall to one more low, 2 years later is the New Year reversal. New Year reversal, we bull trap, fall to one more low, bull trap, fall to one more low. Now, theoretically, guys, if the fractal holds true, this should be the bottom, and we should very easily be seeing some major impulses coming inside of XRP soon. Now, this is what I wanted to quickly go over to start off this video, but we still have an amazing gold fractal that I wanted to share with you. So I want to have you guys stick to the end of this video because honestly, I think this is really important. This looks a lot like Bitcoin when it was at 6K before it fell to 3,200, and XRP is following those same trajectories. And so, to be honest, guys, the fact that I see similarities between gold, XRP, and Bitcoin makes me very confident in the longevity of these cryptos because oftentimes, if they're going to repeat the same market cycle fractals of some of the best performing assets, chances are it's going to be one of the best performing assets, and XRP has already proven us that much. Now, obviously, I'm still diversified in some other coins, XRP, Tezos, Ethereum, Bitcoin. Those are my biggest bags, but XRP has been one of my favorite cryptos because of this exact reason. Anytime you can see two cycles lining up almost exactly the same as the last, it makes me very confident for the longevity because it just makes me a lot more confident that this is actually going to play out. Now, let's go into the next part of the fractal today and let's actually analyze some things here in XRP. So I don't have the chart for myself, but this is actually a chart that was shared by a guy on Twitter, so make sure you guys go give him a follow. Graphistic or something, at IRFANCEBEC12. Follow this guy. He actually is the one that brought this to my attention. But this is actually something that I've been watching for a while because of the Bitcoin comparison. Now, basically, what I shared with you guys way back when Bitcoin was worth $3,200 was the gold fractal. Now, if you guys don't actually know what the gold fractal is, let's go take a look here and actually analyze the two, because, guys, this is so amazing to me because you really don't see these fractals quite often, but with crypto, we're seeing the most revolutionary assets. And to be quite honest, it makes me very confident in the longevity of crypto because we are seeing such correlated cycles. Now, basically, what I wanted to share with you guys today is the original gold cycle. Let's remove the volume real quick. The original gold cycle was from about 1976 to about 2001, so about a 30-year cycle before we actually went to about $1,900 per ounce. Now, what I want to talk to you guys about is this fractal right here, because XRP and Bitcoin actually followed this cycle very, very closely. Really what I wanted to share with you guys is just how close these two cycles are, kind of the way that I indicated it based off of the Bitcoin fractal. And if you guys that maybe don't know what I'm talking about, this was actually me comparing the two cycles between gold and Bitcoin, and I said that the bottom was in based off of this one fractal. Now, if we come over here, let's actually compare Bitcoin, and this is the fractal that I wanted to point out with you guys. Now, basically, what you have here is the cycle high, and then we sell off, and then we actually find support at, in Bitcoin's case, this was the 6K support before we sold to one new low and then actually started our new bullish uptrend. Now, gold followed the same exact trajectory here. We had the cycle top here, we sold off, made our first ABC correction back onto support, and then we bounced here, we made this kind of rounded formation here, and then we got rejected, fell to one more new low, and then started the new bull run, right? Now, Bitcoin, guys, is almost the exact same. We get the top of the cycle here, we sell off, ABC correction, we bounce, make this little rounded, we get rejected right here, and then we fall to this one new low before starting the bull run. Now, this is where it gets really, really important, and why I'm so excited about XRP today is because this actually takes us to what we're seeing now. Now, let's actually compare gold to XRP and see exactly how correlated these two assets are. Now, this is basically the chain of events that plays out in gold and in Bitcoin, and it also plays out in XRP. So if we come in here, we're going to see roughly the same. Basically, we get the cycle high here, we sell off to the support line, and the support line takes us to 30 cents in XRP. This is really where we consolidated here for that length of time on the support floor, and we can see that we get the exact same accumulation here. We bounce, we start to round out, we get rejected right here, and then we actually fall to new lows, and this is the exact same thing here. We bounce, we kind of round out here, we get rejected, and we fall to one more final low. Guys, the same pattern was played out in Bitcoin as well, and that's why I don't feel like there's a big reason to be so bearish on the rest of the altcoin market. And to be quite honest, guys, this is what we're about to see in XRP. To be honest, I think that we're going to see somewhat of a accumulation rounded bottom right here. It is possible we could see a V bottom, but nonetheless, it doesn't really matter how it accumulates. What matters is the exact market cycle analysis that we can see. And right now, we have exact correlations between Bitcoin, we have exact correlations between gold, and we now have exact correlations between XRP. All three of these cycles are following the gold cycle. And that's why it's so important that we pay attention here, guys, because what is coming in XRP is a monumental rise. Now, all I did was just basically layer the last cycle and put it right here, and I think that it's going to line up pretty closely. Now, basically, kind of what I'm watching here is we need this next impulse to really break above, and my guess is it needs to break and at least come back down to retest 30 cents. We need to break back above this 30% resistance. My guess is we'd hit at least 50 cents before kind of falling back down and then having this support and resistance flip. Now, keep in mind, guys, this support and resistance flip can happen a little bit lower here. You know, we could come back down to about here and then flip before going higher. But nonetheless, guys, it doesn't matter. This is still the exact cycle that I'm expecting to kind of play out. Now, my last videos, what I updated you guys with my targets was actually $9, $15, and $28. And so this would follow my exit plan really closely, and this has really been my plan since the beginning. I've expected that XRP was going to play out to this fractal, and I was going to see a massive rise in my asset value. And you know, with all of this uncertainty, with the Federal Reserve just printing endless amounts of money, You know, we used to always have those jokes of the $589 XRP. And the funny thing about it is nobody actually thought it was serious. But now that we're actually seeing this insane inflation that's taking place, and with hyperinflation coming through the Federal Reserve, you know, guys, it's really not unlikely to see a $589 XRP, a $1,000 XRP, because you guys got to remember that as the dollar becomes increasingly more and more worthless, the value of cryptocurrency is only going to go up. And so if they're just printing trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars, XRP's value is going to skyrocket. And that's why I think that it's very important that we all have at least some exposure to these cryptocurrency assets, whether it's XRP, whether it's Bitcoin, Ethereum. You know, everybody has their own favorites. I personally like to diversify the biggest majority of my portfolio in the high cap coins because these are going to be the best performing altcoins. XRP's proven itself on the longevity of this trend. Not only that, but we're seeing an exact market cycle fractal from the last cycle. On top of that, we're also seeing the gold fractal play out almost exactly the same. And so shout out to this guy for actually pointing that out. We can see that this cycle is so insane to me. We can see that it looks exactly the same. We get the exact same accumulation here. It looks it's the same, and I can't stress that enough, but I feel like at this point I'm just beating the dead horse. I'm really excited to make this video for you guys because I see the similarities. This was the exact video way back in 2019 that I made that said the Bitcoin bottom was in. I called the bottom of Bitcoin at $3,200 before it went to 14K. And to be honest, guys, I didn't even expect Bitcoin to go to 14K when I made that video. I'm not even going to lie to you. But with XRP now, following the exact same cycle here, now is the time where I'm not going to be trying to take profits too early. Now is the time where I'm holding because we're about to see some monumental increases in XRP. That's why everybody needs to be prepared for this. With the Fed now printing unlimited amounts of USD, this is exactly what cryptocurrencies were made for. Scarce assets, deflationary assets in an inflationary economy. You guys know what's about to happen. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. If you found any value in this, always remember to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to this channel for more updates. Make sure you guys click that invitation. Make sure you guys click that notification bell so you don't miss out on any new videos like the one provided for you here. Remember, guys, if you want access to my video course and signals, the video course is 20 educational videos that teach you guys all of the same strategies that I use to profit inside of crypto. So if you're somebody that actually wants to learn how to profit as an analyst and actually know how to do this trading on your own, the course is definitely going to be for you. Now, if you're somebody that just wants to copy my long-term investments and my portfolio with entries, exits, then you guys are definitely going to want to check out the portfolio management that I offer in my signals. Both of those are mentioned inside of my Discord. So to join, click the invitation link in the description of this video, and there you're going to get access. Once you have access, shoot me a message, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. But with all that being said, guys, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you in the next video. As always, peace out.